All right, guys, welcome to the Casual Combat MMA show. We have kind of an exciting little episode, more for fun than anything this time, and it is called our Lightweight 8 Challenge Bracket, right? So we thought it would be fun to take all of the lightweights that are meaningful in the division now that Khabib has relinquished the title, kind of, maybe, probably. But we're going to put them, and this episode is going to serve as a ranking and a seeding meeting to seed the top 8 lightweights in the UFC as of today, put them in a bracket, and then Cal and I are going to scrap them out in a UFC 4 style matchups. And for those of you
it will be UFC 4.
What?
It is UFC 4, not style.
You're right. It is just UFC 4. Cal and I are about as even as it could get in UFC 4. We're both real bad. But it doesn't matter who's fighting with who. It's not like, oh, well, I think since Cal's playing with, Justin Gaethje, then he's going to – it doesn't matter who's playing him. B, just because one person is playing them in one round doesn't mean that they will be playing them in the next round either. So
yeah, we'll randomly draw who fights with who each round.
Exactly. And I believe we can get fun. We could do some Twitter polls, see what you guys think before we actually do the fights, and then compare it to what actually happens to the fight. Long story short, this is going to just be fun and for shits and giggles. Now, I do have to acknowledge right away that although Michael Chandler is in everybody's top 8 in the lightweight division in the UFC, he is not in UFC 4, the video game, so he will not be included in this bracket. Right, so now we can just clear the air, and that's why we're not going to be talking about him in this episode. So, all right,
yeah. So let's get to it, to the seeding.
Exactly, and we are going to we're gonna
we've identified 12 possible entrants to the tournament.
Yep.
Those being Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor, Justin Gaethje, RDA, Kevin Lee, Charles Oliveira, Dan Hooker, Paul Felder, Cowboy Cerrone, Edson Barboza, and Max Holloway potentially going up.
Absolutely.
So we need to eliminate 4 people. I think we can kind of do this. I feel like the easiest way is to kind of seed/eliminate, work our way out from the ends to the middle, because I think the top part of the bracket may be easy and the bottom part. So who do you believe, Nelson, should be the number 1 seed in this bracket?
I am going to go – this is casual combat, but I will justify my pick with a little bit of evidence. I think the number 1 seed should be Conor McGregor, right? I believe that he should be because the highest that anyone in this field has ever attained would be an interim belt. Other than Conor McGregor, right? And RDA, you're right. RDA is, we're going to talk about him. He has had a belt. So scratch what I just said. But I think we could all agree that RDA might be a little bit step behind some of the guys that we're going to talk about today. I think Conor McGregor gets the 1 seed, not only because he directly slept Dustin Poirier, and now they're going to be rescheduled for a bout, who I think Dustin Poirier has a very, very good bid for the 2nd seed, which we'll get onto, but he's beaten Dustin Poirier, and Dustin Poirier has beaten Justin Gaethje. So I really think that Conor McGregor needs to be the 1 seed, and I do think there is some data to support that. What do you think, Cal?
I completely agree. I don't think you can have no one on this list has beat Conor, and Conor's beat people on this list. People on this list have beat other people. No one has beat Conor. Conor has been a champ. He's been the champ of this division. He is still really good. I mean, his last loss was to Khabib for the title.
Yeah.
I don't think that I think we're going to be pretty well aligned with these top seeds, and I think it could get more interesting as we go into removing people and getting to more of the middle. So,
yeah. And not to say that Conor McGregor would beat the other people in the list. It's like I don't think you could justify anybody being on top of him right now.
Right? There's no evidence to show what you've done. You come into you're getting seeded based on your accomplishments and who you've beat, not how good you looked.
Exactly.
This is why it's this difference between seeding and ranking.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Now let's pick a person to eliminate who will not be fighting in this tournament. And I would like to offer Cowboy Cerrone. I don't think he belongs with the rest of these guys. I think I was doing more of a service to him, putting him in this list. A little respect to him, but
I think he does deserve to be talked about as far as, somebody to use in this lightweight 8 tournament, but I agree. Cowboy Cerrone, A, not only is really not a lightweight anymore, and B, has lost his last 5.
yeah, it hurts to say.
Yeah.
But so we will have no Cowboy. We need to eliminate 4. Let's go with the 2 seed. Who do you think? I think you kind of alluded to it.
I think right now, again, because I like using MMA math, and I think that MMA math is not practical in who's going to win a fight, but MMA math is relevant when you're talking seeding. I've got to go Dustin Poirier as the 2 seed because nobody else on this list has beaten him outside of Conor McGregor, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct, and he has win over Justin Gaethje, who I think had an argument to be the 1 seed or the 2 seed, but the loss to Poirier, really, you can't be above him then.
Yeah.
And you can't put Poirier at 1 because he lost McGregor.
Exactly.
And to be honest, the first 3 sort themselves out because they beat each other.
That's what I was going to say. Do we want to just give Justin Gaethje the 3rd seed right now? I think there's a top.
Yes.
All right.
Dustin is the 2, and Justin is the 3. Now, I think in a fight between these 2 right now, I think Justin would beat Dustin.
I do too.
I think Poirier is a great fighter and he can win battles. I don't think you can. I think Gaethje is a little more refined now, and I just don't think Dustin can take the punches that Gaethje is going to feed him.
Yeah, I agree fully.
All right, let's eliminate one more person. So 8, and then we have 3 eliminations left. What we are left working with right now, let me do a couple of quick cross-ups. We still have Tony Ferguson, RDA, Kevin Lee, Charles Oliveira, Dan Hooker, Paul Felder, Edson Barboza, and Max Holloway.
All right, who's your vote to eliminate? I know mine right now, but if
I think we should eliminate Edson Barboza.
That was mine as well. I think
not
only has he dropped down to featherweight, but I think yeah, I'll justify it later, but I think Edson's out.
Yeah, I just don't think.
Now, with Edson Barboza's skill set, as far as the UFC 4 game is concerned,
that would have been a huge.
He would be a dangerous guy to use in this tournament. But
then he had a chance.
Yeah, but if we're talking, standings right now, as far as the real fighters in real life, I think Edson Barboza has a really interesting path right now in featherweight. But as far as the lightweight 8 goes, Edson Barboza, you're fired.
You're fired. Let's do the 4 seed. I think we may disagree here.
I also think that we're going to disagree, but maybe by both of us saying that, we have the same opinion.
Don't you say RDA.
Mine's not RDA.
Okay, that's where I'm at.
All right, mine is Dan Hooker.
Mm-hmm. I see
based off of his "What Have You Done For Me Lately" and the bludgeoning of Paul Felder, and then the absolute war that he had with Dustin Poirier.
Yeah, but it was a split decision with Felder.
Oh, maybe then I was okay. Then maybe he didn't bludgeon Paul Felder.
And he did lose to Poirier in a close fight, but he lost.
Yes. Yeah.
RDA is the former champ, and I don't see anyone on this list that's beat him, and he just pounded Paul Felder. And if you're going to go off that, the defeat of Paul Felder as shooting Hooker up to the top to the number 4 seed.
I'll concede to you that RDA is the 4 seed.
I can't prove you wrong for longer.
No, I didn't think of that. And now you say it, and now it makes sense.
Now, what do we have to? We got to eliminate 2 more?
Yeah, we got to eliminate 2 more.
So we might only have to. Oh yeah, there is. Yeah, let's do an elimination. I'll let you make your choice for elimination.
Paul Felder's out. Yeah, he's just out. As far as the guys that we have left, as far as Tony Ferguson, Dan Hooker, Charles Oliveira, Kevin Lee, Paul Felder, and Max Holloway.
Okay. In the event that Max Holloway would go to lightweight, I put him here. I still being in the tournament. I think Ferguson should still be in the tournament for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dan Hooker for sure has a spot in the tournament. So that's 3.
Yeah.
We're talking about the last spot. The last spot is between Paul Felder, Charles Oliveira, and Kevin Lee.
Yeah. And I know who I'm voting off next, too.
I don't know. I am for sure. How do you feel about voting off Kevin Lee?
I think we have to. Because isn't Kevin Lee's last loss to Charles Oliveira?
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's just get rid of him right now.
Let's just get rid of Paul Felder and Kevin Lee.
Well, I'm not sure I want to get rid of Paul Felder.
Okay, let's get rid of Kevin Lee then. Okay.
What? I'm being a little bit casual here, but what's his biggest win to date? Kevin Lee?
No. Let me pull it up. Charles Oliveira, although he hasn't had any massive wins, I think.
Okay, I didn't realize he has been on an absolute tear.
He's on a 7-fight win streak.
A 7-fight finish streak.
Yeah, but in those 7, hear me out. It's Clay Guida, Christos Giagos, Jim Miller.
He is out of the tournament. Who was his last loss to? Who beat
Paul Felder?
Paul Felder is for sure in. You got to get Charles out. You lost to the man. I don't think you may not lose today, but
I was gonna vote Oliveira out over Max anyway. So let's take out Charles Oliveira.
Felder is the 8 seed, I think. So now we have 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, you're right. So Paul Felder.
Because he almost wasn't in the tournament. We're not going to all of a sudden now say, actually.
So now let's go 5, 6, 7, and it has to be between Tony, Hooker, and Max.
Yep. Who do you think is the 5 seed?
Tony. Even though I made an argument for Hooker for 4, now I think Hooker gets the 7 or the 6.
I think Holloway is the 5.
You think Max Holloway could beat Tony Ferguson? I don't.
I think if we're seeding, no, I don't. But it's also he's been the champ, and you're right, because I was going to say the argument that Holloway was once going to get the fight against Khabib for the championship belt.
That was short notice, though. That was not scheduled.
Yeah, I know. And that was going to be my argument. But also, Tony was the interim champ. So, yes, Tony Ferguson is the 5 seed.
Tony was the one that was scheduled to fight Khabib, and then he got hurt, and then they put in Max. And then they put in the man, Al Iaquinta, which we didn't include. But
only one to ever go 5 rounds with Khabib.
Yeah, he would not have made my bracket still.
No. But, yeah. So, yeah, Tony Ferguson 5. I'm fine with that. Now that you did the same thing me, where you used my logic to prove why my logic was wrong.
Okay, and then it is between Dan Hooker and Paul Felder. No, it's not. It's between Dan Hooker and Max Holloway.
Gotta give it to Holloway.
Why? Why do you gotta give it to Holloway?
Because he's been the champ. I guess
but let's look at the common opponents.
Who is it?
Dustin Poirier.
No.
Dustin Poirier has 2 commanding wins over Max Holloway, and when Dustin Poirier and Dan Hooker fought,
that was very close.
I had the fight 2-2 going into the 5th.
So as did I. All right, I'm good with that. And
we're talking about Max at lightweight too. We're not talking about Max at featherweight.
Correct. I was gonna say he's coming up.
Hooker also is a featherweight that's up at lightweight too, but
he's kind of.
Hold on now. Let's look at Dan Hooker's lightweight resume, because maybe we're gonna find something that
is going to change our minds drastically.
Yeah.
Now, this is could be a big deal, because if you're the 6th seed...
Boy, you're not going to like the fact that Edson Barboza has a win over Dan Hooker, but that's fine.
It's too late now. He's gone now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did... Hooker also has a win over Gilbert Burns.
Yeah.
Because if you're the you may want to be the 7th seed. Because truthfully, then you get to fight Dustin Poirier instead of Justin Gaethje first round.
It's true.
And as a 7th seed, that puts you on the opposite side as Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
So, not that doesn't make a difference in our seeding, but I agree with you now. I think Hooker, I'm still good with Hooker being our 6th seed and Holloway being the 7th seed.
Yeah.
Okay, so to bring everything back together, our first round matchups, we're going to have Conor McGregor fighting Paul Felder. We're going to have Dustin Poirier fighting Max Holloway 3. Justin Gaethje versus Dan Hooker. Ooh, that'll be a good one.
Yeah.
And RDA versus Tony Ferguson.
And those are our quarterfinals in the lightweight 8.
I'm excited with how that turned out. I think that bracket actually ended up being it came out really interesting how who's going to fight who. I like it.
Yeah. And now I want to see, based on your predictions and based how our bracket pans out, who do you think, based on only UFC 4 usability, is going to come out in this tournament as the number 1 guy?
Let's we'll both do it March Madness style. We'll say who we think is going to win and then who would be. So in the fight, I think McGregor will beat Paul Felder.
Hold on, I'm writing out
your bracket.
Yeah. Although I probably should have used this bracket to actually record the real results on, but now I'm just using it to predict, and I'll just rewrite it here in a second. But
so, yeah, my pick is McGregor over Felder. It's just hard because you and I fight different too. Because
I know it makes a difference if
you get
I have
or
Max
if I
or
get a guy.
if
It makes a difference. Like I think if I get Max Holloway, I'll beat you.
Yeah. So
but
I'll just say, in my UFC 4 lightweight 8 bracket, in the finals, I have Tony Ferguson versus Max Holloway, and I have Tony Ferguson beating Max Holloway in the finals. That has nothing to do with real life fighting, just to do with the skill set and the moves that are available to them in the video game. Yeah. I think it doesn't come down to stats at all when we fight. It's just who we are using and the moves.
It's the moves. Length helps us a lot.
Yep. Tony Ferguson has an Imanari roll that goes directly from the feet to a submission. I think that is very usable. And Max Holloway has an uncanny ability to keep distance.
Hooker could definitely beat Gaethje too, because Gaethje's kind of slow.
Yeah, I don't have Hooker beating Gaethje, but could.
I don't either, but I think it's realistic. So my semifinals will be McGregor, Ferguson, Gaethje, and Holloway. I think Holloway would win again. I think McGregor beats Ferguson, and McGregor is the champ again in my.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, this will be a couple weeks series. We're not going to fight these all out right away. We'll kind of tweak some stuff out and we'll fight some and see what you guys think. Maybe this will be something we can do with other weight classes if people are interested in it.
Absolutely. So that's all we got for this episode. And there we go. Thanks for tuning in. Like always, leave a like, subscribe to us, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. Thank you guys very much.